Hey pilots, welcome back. Check it out. Here we have the FMS 80mm Futura V3 with the Reflex V2 system in it. 6S powered EDF jet, pretty awesome. It's got some pretty sick landing gear and just a bunch of cool features, lights and stuff on the V3 here. Here's the specs: 41.7 inch wingspan, flying weight of 2,500 grams. I believe what I've read is they upgraded the motor, the lights, servos, a couple things on this one versus the V2. And you also get this sweet scheme. Here's some info on the box. I haven't taken it out yet, so let's go ahead and do that right now. And we'll show you what you get and how it comes packaged. That looks cool. I really like the green. Look at that. That is something right there. Ooh boy. That looks sick. Okay, get this tape out of the way. Get some of this stuff out. Very cool. Pretty excited for this one. What I've read, they fly very well. They look cool. And you can't go wrong with FMS stuff, right? So there we got a wing panel. Pretty crafty packaging they've got going on here. Kind of fun to get out. Sorry this doesn't fit in the frame 100%. Box is pretty good size, and I just can't get the camera back enough to do justice for it. Wing panel 2. Here's the manual and some paperwork. Alright, now what? Get that out of the way. Now we can get that out. There's that one. Here we have what looks to be a rudder. It's already pre-hinged. It's already got the linkage on it. Gotta love that. Don't have to do any linkages. Here's a spar for something. Obviously the wings, because this is right here. Again, linkages are on. That's sick. You gotta love that. Got the sweet scheme. If you guys are interested in one, links will be down below. FMS awesome place to get your hobby stuff. This would be for adjusting the reflex gyro. You got some screws to put it together. And geez, there's nothing left. Just the fuselage. Oh yeah, look at that. That is cool. That's a cool looking bird there. I'm excited to fly this. So everything is labeled on the tail where you're going to plug in your stuff. Big light there in the center. Gotta love the wing connections. 2 screws, and then you've got an easy plug in there. Doesn't get any better than that. Pop this hatch off. Got slippery fingers, I can't grab it. There we go. Okay, good. You can see what's going on in there. Reflex gyros, that orange box there. And your battery will go right here. Lots of space. Nice big open area there. Pretty cool. Okay, well, let me get everything set up here to put her together, and we'll be right back. First thing in the manual it tells you to do is to put the wings on. So you're going to flip it upside down. Get your spar. Is going to go in place. And then you're going to put your wing panels in, and 2 screws per side. And I can tell this is going to take 0 time to build. If you need an EDF that you're going to travel to an event or something, I'm pretty sure you could stick this back in the box from the way it looks here. So get that spar started in there. Get it going in. There we go. Now we'll put the screws in and hold that into place. I'm going to put the other side on so it stays level on my holder here, because it kind of wants to fall over. That way I don't have to try to balance it the whole time. Awesome. Okay, I got them all in. Just going to double check that they're snug. They're good. So you got to push them in pretty good to get them to fit, because everything's new and tight, right? But you know, it was a piece of cake. So I did use, you got to use an Allen with those. I can't read what size this one is right here. 2mm, I believe it says on there. So you're gonna need a 2mm Allen. All the screws appear to be the same size, so that's pretty nice. Next step will be putting the horizontal on. Take the wires off of there. And you're going to plug them into the elevator ones and fish that up and put it into place. So you're going to make sure they're color coded, make sure they go in the right way. Brown's going to brown. They clip in. I really like FMS has these connectors that have clips on them, so there's no questioning if they're locking in or not. We'll just fish them up in there out of the way as best we can. Okay, that looks about it. Now we'll get these 3 screws installed. You can feel when they snug up. This one's pulling in pretty hard, so we're just going to go ahead and stop there. Obviously the next step, that's right, it's going to be the rudder. So again, you're just going to pop this tape off of here. Plug it in, make sure the colors are coded properly. Plugged in, tuck it down in that hole there. Make sure the wires are all going to stay out of the way. There we go. And then put the 3 screws in that. So there'll be 1 screw left over. So it looks like they give you a spare. I like to get them all started before I start beefing them too tight. Doesn't get much easier than that. A handful of screws in 5 minutes time. Took me longer to explain what I'm doing on video than it did to actually put it together. So there we go, that's installed. Doesn't get much easier than that at all. So next thing to do would be get your receiver in and figure out your plugins. So obviously everything is all labeled. These FMS planes, they got it figured out for you. And then I believe, if I can find it here, rudder, flap, elevator, gear. So here's your mode button. So this way you can adjust the gyro. There's 3 modes. You can be off, stabilized, and then self-righting, I call it, for the 3rd mode. So let me grab a receiver and we'll be back and do that. Okay guys, got me an AR8020T. Links will be down below in the description. Got everything plugged in. In case you don't know, channel 1, it goes throttle, aileron, elevator, rudder, gear, flap, and then I put the mode switch in channel 7. We'll do some mixing to make that all work. So let's do our first turn on here. Got my model made in the radio. So you got to hold down the bind button as you plug it in. See if I can do this. There we go. Flashing. Go in your radio. Bind. Hold it.
Binding. Bind complete DSMX 22 milliseconds. Telemetry.
You gotta let it sit, and the gyro, the reflex, will kind of stabilize. That's what all them little surface movements were. It was getting its level. Okay, it works right out of the gate. Good, good. So let's see. Let me look in the setup here. So ailerons need to be reversed. Gear switch needs to be reversed. Check. And flaps need to be reversed. So just so you know, if you're on spektrum, those three have to be reversed. So this receiver does have telemetry, which is pretty sweet. Now I need to do a mix for a switch for the gyro sensitivity. I usually do B button on mine. So let me find a mix here. I'll also show you guys how I do flight modes for flaps, because that's really the best way to do that. So P mix 1, just normal. So we're going to mix this switch. Oh, it's already going on the right one. I don't have to do a mix. Okay, well that's pretty rad. I just lucked out and stuck it in the right channel right out of the gate. You can tell by the lights on the reflex what it does. Let me read that off to you here. So you'll see when it's, oh here it is. So note, so when the gyro LED is on, which it is now, that's stabilized mode. If the gyro LED flashes slowly, it means gyro off. And then if the gyro LED flashes rapidly, it's optimized mode. So I'm assuming that's going to be your auto level, is what I call it. Throttle. So the default position is going to be what looks like the auto level to me. Mid position appears to be off. And then the up position is going to be the stabilized mode. What I'll probably do is reverse that switch just so that, see, that's aux 2 on mine, so that when it takes off it's on stabilized. Aux 2 reversed. There we go. That's how I like to fly it. Stabilized mode on. If I want the auto level mode, I can flip it up to that, and I don't want it on all the time. So there's that. Let me see if I can hold it up here. We'll show you the gear. Trying to think of how I'm going to hold this properly for you guys to see and not hurt anything. You guys see that? You got them sweet trailing link gear, which are just awesome. Try to get it where you guys, it's a tough one to see, sorry about that. Works great, looks great, very cool. Don't set it on the door. Okay, we got that. So let's set up the throws and the CG. I believe the book said it was 100 to 105 millimeters for the CG. I measured it from the root here back. Low wing, you'll balance it inverted. So I just took my fingernail and put a little mark on each side so that I can see it. That's where it's going to CG at when you get to that point. And then throws, I'm just going to go by the book. You can see there, elevator high rate is 17 millimeter, low rate's 12, aileron 15 up, low rate's 10 down, and then rudder I usually just do 100% throw and put about 20% expo and let it rip. I throw about 15 to 20% expo and the other things. That all depends on you guys and how you fly, so there's that. Just kind of show you guys a control check here. So I just slowed the servo speed down for the flaps, half and full. My elevator mixing will be the flight modes, which I'll show or have shown. Aileron throws, elevator throws, rudder throws. So then I do triple rates for everything. So triple rates for the elevator, high, medium, low. Aileron, high, medium, low. Rudder is what it is. Alright, so on this model I'm going to set up a thing called flight modes. This is how I set up all my flaps, all my airplanes with flaps. And let me come over there and I'll see if I can get the screen in view so you guys can see how I do it as I do it. Okay, so flaps.
Flaps up.
So we go into, if you got your IX20 model set up, we'll go down here to flight mode setup. So switch D.
Full flaps.
That's flight modes, that's what we want. Then we go back, we go to trim setup. So you want to choose flight mode for trim setups. Elevator, I do it for all three of them. That way, throttle stays common, everything else stays common, just your three primaries. So you'll see here, I'll put 2 clicks in no flap. See how it goes to 0?
Full flaps.
So full flaps, there's a bunch of aileron. Half flaps, there's a little.
Flaps up.
None, there's none. Or none now.
Half flaps. Full flaps.
So what this does, guys, is when you're in flight, you trim it out. You're made in flight, you'll go up, you'll trim it out for no flaps.
Half flaps.
Click on your half flaps, you'll trim it out. The trim will stay with that flight mode. So each time you flip that switch in flight, you know, you can trim it indefinitely forever. There's none of this percentage guessing BS on the ground. No games, you just made in flight, you go up, you trim each flight mode in, it's done. Sometime in the future, if something's a little bit off, in one of the flight modes or whatever, I mean, you never know. You never really have to trim them again, but I mean, you do it once and you're done, and it's not a guessing on the ground where, oh, I need, you know, 5% of up elevator, and in fact you needed 5% of down, and then you get up there and it's bad, and then you got to land and try to remember how much of what way. It's like, no, I've been doing this for decades. This is the way to do it. Flight modes, keep it simple. If you guys need a file for any of the reviews that I do, I can download it out of here and send it to you. I don't know all the different radios it'll work on, but I just recently sent one to another IX20 user and it worked great on a different plane of mine. So keep that in mind, guys. So flight modes, pretty awesome. Recommended. Work smarter, not harder. So the receiver, I'm just going to tuck it up in the side of the fuselage here. I'm going to find a nice spot and poke it in there and tape it to the side and then tidy up the wires, and that'll be done for that. And the only thing left is to get some good weather. I don't know if you can hear it's raining, but typical for the PNW here. And then get your CG right, do your range check, and go to the field. So like, comment, subscribe, check out the links down below in the description if you're interested in anything. If you've got one, let me know what you think of it. I'm really digging it. This will be my first Futura, so I'm pretty stoked. Everything I've heard has been just awesome. Awesome. So I don't think I showed you guys the lights yet though, right? So you got a green light there. At the bottom you've got a super bright light there in the middle. And the other side has a flashing red light. Sorry, it's not the easiest to show in here. You'll see it when we get out to the field though. You're not going to be disappointed. So anyways, appreciate you guys watching this. Make sure you smash that like button and we'll catch you at the field.